All right. We are live. I think we're live. Is this on? Yeah, it is. Yep, that's on. We're live. Let's see if anybody tunes into this one. Oh, I need to start giving like longer announcements before deciding to go live. Or I can just try to be like, all right, weekly, we're doing live Friday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you can hear me, give me a thumbs up. If you can't hear me, thumbs down. Hopefully, you can hear me. Let a couple people get in. See if the audio's good. Really don't care about the video. Video can be crap for all I care. Man, so much to talk about. Not really. I say, what okay, dog? I say there's a lot of stuff to talk about, but I don't know if there's a lot of stuff to talk about or not, because usually this starts with the topic, but then people ask questions, and then we talk about karting, try to get people into a sport and help them along, basically. I know someone did the message 40 versus 50. I was like, oh my god, I don't know, man. I guess depends on the chassis, the driver, the cart, the weight. So many different things into it. Well, this is more to answer. This talk will be the more to answer all the WKA questions I've been getting. Mm. It's been. I thought I'd do a video instead of keep messaging people back. This weekend SSKC is going on. Man, yo. Make up time, Jesus. Um, yeah, they're at PK Motorsports Park. That's pretty cool. Uh, I just, I just can't do back to back weekends. I just couldn't do back to back weekends. Heck, I couldn't even finish this weekend. That's how bad it was. Kart was fast. Motor was strong. Driver was just out of shape. I'm here working out right now. Gotta get that strength back. the strength. Oh, we'll give you here a couple more minutes, and then we'll just start getting into why I went back to WKA. I mean, the reason is pretty easy, but if you guys have any questions, start shooting them out now. Any questions? I'm an open book, man. I really am an open book. And if you tune in, hit that like button. It helps distribute the channel. I think try to get more people to come on the live. It'll be fun to have this like a big live on YouTube. It's hard to do live streams at times. Plus, I'm not really good at it. I just hit the live button and start talking. I don't even know if it makes sense sometimes. Mm. We'll give it another minute, then we'll start sending it. Oh, more people are coming in. That's pretty good. Oh man. Well, I think so. When you used to race Gold Cup back in the day, how long ago has it been? Because this last weekend, the crazy numbers that I heard was a lot of the old timers used to race WKA Gold Cup back in the day as well, and they still get like close to 300 entries and 80 to 90 in the class, and they say it used to be huge, but now it's just not big. And to be honest, the turnout wasn't very big at all. I mean, the competition's good. Don't get me wrong, because all the fast guys want to do the big races, right? They want to do big tracks. So they had at Charlotte Motor Speedway. So it wasn't at GoPro or anything. So it's like a one-off event track. It's a really good lead up to the Grands. So you know, um, just the last couple of years, It was 2016 in Sportsman. Suppose it wasn't too long. That's not very long ago. So okay, JD. So WK was the only show in the country basically. Okay. So how many entries you guys would get? I heard the entry was high, up highs. I mean, entrance in Daytona is a lot, but I mean it's Daytona. Come on, guys. Everybody wants to race the iconic track of Daytona. That's why I went there. I mean, I wanted to race the iconic track. I didn't go there for the series. No offense. Even though the series is put up with all my bullshit, me talking bad about them, but I mean, hopefully they listen and turn it around. The event wasn't bad. I mean, Tech was pretty shitty. But everybody that we raced there, I mean, everybody that raced there during the event in Tech, like we all know each other and race against each other. Nobody just straight up ran away with it. The only class like someone just straight up ran away with it was I want to say juniors, but there was an incident, but they were tightly packed. And then Supermasters, Insco's cart was just on fire, but he wasn't running like killer lap times. He was running just consistently quick lap times. Other than that, all the other classes were close, like stupid close. You see 250 entries. That's how it used to be. I just wonder why. If I mean, I know why to an extent why they've gone so far away. Like they just don't, give back to the racers or listens to the racers. I feel like they just don't give a shit to an extent about, you know, the racing community. They don't sit down and listen to uh to a certain degree. Thanks, Bryce Frank. Good luck tomorrow and this weekend. The next weekend coming up at my favorite series TSRS. All right, so let's get into it. All right, so why did I get back into WK? Basically, I didn't really come back for the series per se. A lot of fast guys that will be up at Grands from the South were racing it. Um, but it was a way to get back in the seat. Dylan definitely was not because you were there. Even though I'll caveat, I'll talk about Dylan here in a little bit, but um, it was a way to get back in the seat. I've been out of the seat for 2 months. First, it's hot as hell. Like, there ain't no way I'm getting in a damn cart being freaking way too hot. All right, I'm not doing that crap anymore. Second of all, it was to see if I could do it due to the neck injury I'm having. And for everybody that knows now, it's I have a herniated disc in my C4, C5, so it's pushing on my nerves, going down my arms. So I want to see if I could do it. Charlotte's one of the more physical tracks, and it's a good practice session for next year's springs. Also, the same compound tire. It was also a test session. Now people go like, "Oh, why didn't you just do a track day for a test session?" The thing is, when you do a test session, I tried like testing race conditions, meaning like the progression of the track. So when the Friday, I wasn't there for Friday practice, but Friday practice, the track was slick, not really rubbering up. People were searching for grip. I show up Saturday. Insco right away gave me the gear and gave me a little rundown of what was happening. Ryan and I showed up cold from LSR, and we hit the track. I was trying a brand new setup in the cart too, but I wanted to see what it did throughout the progression. So a good test day for me was like basically from start to finish of a race weekend. I had a game plan in mind, and basically first practice session went out there and did not like the setup at all. It was good. It was good for like a green track, like what we had. Cart was good. It was hooked up. It was quick for a green track. That's not what I'm looking for when I get there. I'm looking for almost a spin out, almost uncontrollable drive, like something really, really hard to control. That's usually my first practice session. If the cart feels good, I'm worried. I'm like, okay, we gotta free it up right off the rip because the track's green. There's nothing down, laid down. There's no rubber. People have been practicing on old tires, some on new tires. There hasn't been any rubber laid down, so it's green. So when people says, "Oh man, the car's perfect," I'm like, "We're screwed." I was like, "I'm screwed. I'm so screwed." So the first set, like literally got back to the pits. I gotta thank Will and everybody helped me out. I yanked the seat out. I put my other seat in. I slammed it all the way forward. I did all my changes I wanted to do. Cut the axle, and then I went back to. I still want to run it a certain width. I didn't have time to do a front end adjustment, but I got the tires on and everything, and went out for qualifying. There's the first session when everybody's going to put on brand new tires, so the track is going to start. That's when things start happening. When you throw brand new tires on, kart changes completely. The rubber starts getting laid down. The heat of the sun starts coming down. So track evolution comes up. So that's one of the test sessions. So I was worried about, okay, first practice session was tight. All these changes I did was to free it up, so it should work. Went out there, cart was too free, but I knew we were going in the right direction. The cart was just too much front end bite. It was jacking too quickly, setting down, unsettling the cart. Track was not there for the setup we had yet, but I was happy with it. I got a really good run. Actually, my fast lap was my second lap. I was gonna draft with Ryan, but he lost me at the beginning, leaving the pits. Then I got a good run up, and then basically by my third lap, I caught him. On the fourth lap, we did another good push lap, and then he was able to get third. I was able to get pole barely over Ryan. Ron Clyde. So Ron was really quick too this whole weekend. So all the setup changes work. Freed the card up a ton. So okay, now I need to take away some front end bite. So I did another front end setup change, and I was gonna go out there for heat one and tire pressure check and stuff like that. Um tech at WKA, apparently, and this is out of their control. This is the problem. Like, it's out of control. They had a gentleman, but the tech gentleman was in Florida due to a hurricane, so he was unable to make it. The way they were doing tech, the first time they checked, I think fuel was the first thing they checked. Like, they used tech fuel and they called it good. But then they were checking microns off our own car. So there's two things I don't like about that. All right. First is I can put the RPM limiter wherever the hell I want to put the RPM limiter. If I only want to read 5K, I'll put 5K, right? You're not going to see higher than 5K. 6K, 6K. You get it. Or if we're driving, right, and I have a gear for an infield gear and the guy pushed me has a tooth lower than me, he's going to push me past my limiter. So my Alfano or Micron or whatever data logger I'm using is going to read past the RPM because you're pushing me past my limit. So it'll read a little high. So you shouldn't take it like that. My recommendation for them is have an external Micron if you want to check RPMs, plug it, and then rev the engine up, right? Or get a spark plug tester, take the spark plug out, check the spark plug, do the normal shit. But since the tech guy wasn't there, it was more like there was a little confusion because basically like 18 people would have been DQ'd. Because some of us had an infield gear, some of us had a top speed gear, and we were all, in Charlotte, it's all push. So I mean, yeah, it's gonna read high for some and read not for others. But and then from there, I just went on to the next progression. All right, the chassis, the 23 has a lot more front end bite. It rolls really, really well. Like through the double lefts and high speed section, I had no binding up issues at all. I actually had the opposite. The cart was free through every session that I went out there. Except for heat two, I got into a small little incident at the start of the race, and the cart felt snug in the rear. It didn't feel tight in the high speeds. Like, I actually felt better in the high speeds having that extra grip. It's just the double lefts and the right hander, the cart felt snug. Like, it didn't want to roll through the corner as good. It was like kind of lazy mid off. So I didn't like it. I went back to a little bit of wider setup. And then the finals, the cart was just on fire. Like, this it's the fastest kart I've driven. Like straight up, stupid happy with the final setup. Stupid happy with how everything went out throughout the weekend. They did a great job, WK, staying on time and being ahead of time at times. Um, everybody was clean and respectful driving. It was basically, a little bit unorganized. I heard during the drivers' meeting that I never go to, but I missed it because it was Friday. Thank God. A little unorganized, but at the same time, there's not much confusion. Confusion. It was the same shit over and over again. So overall, it was good. It's just I don't know. Like they got to advertise it better. Entice us to come out and race with them. Um, it just felt like a glorified club race. The medium, light, and senior class, the heavy classes, that was fun class to watch race because those were all the front runners that were going to be at Grands. Um, Hands down, there was some good racing. Think a little bit, shuffling back and forth. You had Colin Warren, Colin Aiken, you had Dylan on the MGM, and then you had the Coyote Boys, Overbeck, and I forget the other kid's name, but you know what I mean. They're out there running. Um, you haven't missed much. I've just been talking shit about how WK went. But hands down, I think overall it was a good weekend to test because by the end of the weekend, the grip level was pretty decent. It was not like super high, but it was getting to that point, and the cart stayed still. It was still not. I still couldn't drive it at the limit. I had to really focus on my driving, not for the cart to break loose. But when I hit it right. So stupid happy overall. Dylan, in my opinion, had the fastest cart in. I'm gonna say medium. Blue, he looked very competitive, but in medium, the MGM was quick. Like he was gonna win the race, except freaking junk was in his fuel filter, and he almost did it. He just didn't fully commit on the full send on the outside. He kind of bitched out. He didn't full send. So if you're gonna make a move, you got to full send that move. Um, but yeah, that was basically the weekend, and the reason I was back at WK was because I needed a good test session. And my thought process behind it was I'm not going to get a good test session at a regular practice day. It just doesn't happen. You don't get to see a progression of the track. You don't get to adjust as the track rubbers up. And the whole goal is to stay ahead of the track. And then you have to like guess what's the track going to do. So heading up the Grands, you know how it is. Weather changes all the time. We know if it's going to be rainy, it's going to be sunny. Um, Yeah, you should have full sent. If you'd have full sent on the outside, Dylan, you'd have won the race. I mean, definitely. And in light, I called it. I said the only way they were going to stop you is they wrecked you, and they did. So in light, they did the right move. In medium, they should just wrecked you at the beginning, but they let you hang around too long. But yeah, you adjust for the track, and Grands, everything's just going to be. It's always hectic. Like Thursday practice, you're searching for speed. You don't know what you got. Tracks just starting to rubber in. People are not putting in new tires in yet. Some people are, some people are not. If you're like me, you wait until qualifying to see what you got. You have to guess on setup like always, and hopefully you nail the lap. Um, because I don't run new tires for practice. And then you hope to God that the rain doesn't come, right? Or if you're struggling that you're ever stuck, you're hoping for the rain to come to wash away some of the rubber. Um, but you're always trying to stay ahead of the track. So if you get on track and you get a good run and there's still more rubber to be laid down, you say, okay, the car is perfect. You got to stay ahead of the track, make slight adjustments. If you think the car is good, it might just take tire pressure or it might take a wholesale change to get you where you need to be. Because people that usually start at at the beginning of the weekend that they're really fast end up getting slower as the weekend goes on, and they wonder why. Well, they haven't done any adjustments to free it up. You've just been stagnant, expecting I don't know what you're expecting. Well, the cart was great when we first started out the weekend. Yeah, on old tires and green track, cart was great. Okay, well, that means the cart was tight. I mean, what do you want me to tell you? I mean, you almost want to be spinning out at that point. And I mean spinning out, not that and pay attention. Like pay attention to the front and rear of the cart. Like spinning out to a point like, okay, the moment I turn in, the rear wants to come around. Not that I'm cranking the wheel left, the next thing you know, mid corner the cart snaps on me. Then you're just driving a dump truck around. So yeah. And then the new cart, I mean the 23, I mean the MGM was just on fire, man. That thing was it just works well for me because people come up to me, hey, what do you recommend on a cart? Well, I mean, I'm on an MGM. Oh, what's at your local track? Well, I don't have a local track. Do you want to be competitive, club level, local level, move up to regional? I mean, what do you want? Where's the support? Do you want support when you move up, or do you? I mean, some people out here just looking to sell you a chassis. Yeah, buy this, man. This is the greatest thing on earth. It'll make you fast as hell. Nah, every chassis you can make fast. All right, it's just some chassis you got to work at it harder than others. For me, a stiffer chassis works. The MGM works for me. All right, for you, a Burrell might work. Some other people, CRGs, OTK, right? VLR. There's a ton. You mean Coyote? I haven't seen any Margays around, so I don't even know if they're still in the game. I think they just stay in the Ignite side. But I haven't seen a Margay out there in forever and a day. I don't even think anybody runs a Margay anymore. I heard they used to be huge too. At least when I started, they were big too. But they haven't done shit. Gotta get with the changes, baby. Uh, yeah, you should have full sent her around there outside, but Dylan, man, you screwed up. You gave away that win. I can't talk shit. I gave away mine too. Yeah, they're big on the Ignite series, and the biggest thing is the K3, the Ignite cart. It's a budget cart, right? And it's good on hard compound tires, which means the cart is naturally tight. So when you get to the bigger races, regional level and above, when the grip gets laid down, they just fall apart. Like they get stuck. And you're fighting, I can't free it up. I can't free it up. Well, the cart has grip built into it. Excuse me. I like the new water ball. Yeah, this weekend, I'm celebrating. Well, okay, so Jane Perkins has Old Red, and that's an inch and a quarter chassis. It's an old school, almost like a brick chassis. So they were quick. And Insco is on his old Coyote, which is the fast Coyote. The new Coyote, he hasn't figured it out yet. But Chris Carroll was making that damn thing move the other day. I mean, it's freaking moving. Yeah, most of I don't see any Margays at the track anymore. Like they haven't done any design changes really, and pushed their own series. Like the K3 is a good cart to race in their own series. It's a spec class. It all comes down to driver. They even do like spec front driver on the gearing and stuff. So you really can't mess with the mini gears and change. I mean, you could play with different clutches and clutch engagement. That's also I messed with this weekend. I was running a dragon skin and I changed my engagement on the clutch. I went a little higher than I usually go to. I liked it. It turned out to be good. That clutch, you just gotta be careful. If you spin out, just don't pin it. All right. Everybody, they burn out too easy. When you leave the pits, just feather it a little bit. Once it engages, gets going, then you can hammer down. If you spin out, don't pin it. Just start feathering again, get going again. Just be careful. But I really don't do any maintenance on the car. I mean, on the clutch. Like I take it out, I sand it, brake clean it, clean it up. Oh, what springs do I put on mine? I have on the outside, they're white springs. On the inside, they're orange springs in the middle. and I have 7 gram weights all the way around. I told you I'm an open book. Like, I'll give away everything. I'm not gonna give away my setup for the MGM. I don't give a shit anymore now. Everybody else is getting. Everybody's getting MGM. You guys are all getting too fast. And a lot of people don't even listen to me anyway, so it doesn't matter. Oh, the 40 and 50 roll a millimeter. I mean, to me, if you're a lighter guy, you can get away with the 40 millimeter. A bigger guy, 50. But I think it's just when it comes to driving, the 40 is not as forgiving as the 50. What I mean by that is even myself, like I had to be on it this weekend to drive my car because I love a ton of front bite. Like I have a lot of nose weight, a lot of nose weight. My seat moved all the way forward, and then the 15 pounds I add to the car are all on the nose. So I have you breathe on my front end, and it just turns the car on a dime. So I the only bad thing about that, I have to be really concentrated. So sometimes I don't concentrate and I make a mistake, or the first 3 to 4 laps I'm holding on for dear life. We use Vega Reds. That was one of the reasons, JD, I went to down there, Vega Reds. No, I did not go to the cash shootout. I was planning on going, but decided not to go due to weather. Man, it has been raining. Did you go up to Jackson when it rains all the damn time? But yeah, definitely the Vega Reds and the grip level, JD, was pretty good. It was a pretty good grip level. I feel pretty good at grants. I don't know the layout grants. I hopefully they don't do anything like they don't. I hope they don't release it. Yeah, I should have ran SSKC this weekend. Kind of beating myself up about it a little bit. I really wanted to go to the PK Motorsports Park and check it out. I should at least gone down there and checked out the racing. That would have been great. I'll be at the final round though. I mean, if I don't, we'll figure out what's wrong, what they're gonna do with my neck, and then I'll hopefully be there for the final round. If not, I'll just show up and hang out with everybody and get to meet everybody down there. Yeah, Mike, I'm on a 2550. I run Paul spindles, and then I run OTK axle with OTK standard length hubs. Um, Masters weight in WKA is 390. Heavyweight was 380. Yeah, so their heavy class is a 10 pounds lighter than the Masters. Usually it's 390 across the board, but for their heavy they made 380. So 2550 means Billy, it's 25 millimeter front spindles. That's the size of the spindle. You have 17 and 25, and then the back of the cart, the axle size, 50 means I have a 50 millimeter axle instead of a 40 millimeter axle. I don't know if anybody runs an inch and a quarter anymore. That might have been like a back in the day type thing. Yeah, so some people I know run 1740, others 2540, and some 2550. And then there's a couple carts 1750. So there's different combinations that you can run. Um, just depends on how the cart's set up, and then basically um, how how the cart's developed. A lot of carts now developed 2550 for like some carts. VLR is still 1740 setup. I don't think I've seen them move away from that at all. I know MGMs, they run whatever the hell they run. You see, that's okay, for me personally, right? I think a 2550 setup is good for a master weight, right? Yeah, we can discuss engine. I think 2550 is a good for master weight. Um, I think the 1740 is just a little too soft. right? It just doesn't. It's like a wet noodle back there. So I think for green track, 1740, but I do think 2550 is a better option. Yeah, Dylan, I do think for a heavier driver, a 2550 is a much better option. That's just my opinion. A lot of people's run that way. Now on seat stiffness and stuff like that, it's all up to you. Whatever. I don't. I run a Tillet VGC in my cart, but if I was in a softer cart, I run a stiffer seat. So soft cart, stiff seat, stiff cart, soft seat. That's the way I do it. I tried the IMAF seat, but I didn't like that seat at all. I didn't like the IMAF at all. Jesus, that was it. It lasted one session with me. I literally grabbed in the pits. I was like, "Bye," and putting more rear weight. I don't, that's one thing. I don't care how you look in the cart. I I'm not looking at myself in the cart. Everybody's like, "Yo, man, you look all scrunched up." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm up on the steering wheel, but the cart's fast like that. Like that's the way I like it. I don't give a shit how it look. Oh, you don't look relaxed. You gotta get legs straight. No, fuck how it looks. Am I fast? If I'm not fast, I'm doing something." They were like, "Oh, you cut like 10 millimeter off the axle, bitch. I cut 2 inches off each side. I took 4 inches off the axle." I was like, "No, I'm cutting. Like I'm going balls to the wall. We gotta make this thing work." But you can ask questions about engines. Why do you like such short axles? I think it's a spring effect. The shorter the axle, the freer the cart is. And how do I explain it? So I cut the axle short and I hang the hubs off. It frees the cart up. Everything I do is just to have it's easier to make a cart tight than it is to free it up. So I do everything to free the cart up, right? Everything is free. Like when we mean free, it's like it just doesn't bind. It doesn't bind mid off. You don't get a push on entry. It doesn't mean you're sliding around. It just means you almost like glide. Like you're almost like the cart lifts, rotates, and just goes. It doesn't slow down. It slow down in the middle of the corner. It actually feels like you pick up speed. Like you go into a corner, you let off, you let the cart roll, you get back on the gas, and you just feel the cart pick up a lot of speed and tons of speed. And then you basically open your hands up and bam. Yeah, because I'm just thinking about it. I'm like, it's just how it just when it hits just right, man. Like this weekend, this past weekend, it hit just right. In the finals, through the double lefts and the right, and I mean, I'm telling you, the cart was just entry. Okay, I got backup entry, a little bit turning, hands were straight, cart just I mean, I was like the G forces, I was holding on for dear life. Like that's how it was. And the high speed, it didn't bind up because the 22 mid corner on the high speed, you feel the cart like kind of bind and not want to release. And the 23, the cart's just like boom, gone. I was just like, this is it. This is what I needed. Mm. I went in starting like seventh. There was only 8 of us in class, so it wasn't a lot. What would be the number one thing you can do with Rob's power? Which, of course, you're not want to. Number one thing. Dirty air filter. Keep your air filter clean. That would rob power. Make sure you have full open throttle. Run a fuel filter. You don't want junk in your fuel. You don't want a piece of little debris. Leave unleaded fuel or leave non-ethanol free fuel in the carb. Max, how often have you like sent your motor to get refreshed? I send the engine when I feel the engine's like kind of weak. I'll send it off to the engine builder, and they'll just reseat the valves and call it good. They'll change probably the springs or do whatever the hell they do, and then call it good. Myself every year. I sell motors. So basically, I still got one left to sell. Um, some people do leak down tests, but other than that, like I just sell motors. Like every year, I try to sell a motor and then just get another motor. Does it make a difference? Probably not. The one I ran last weekend is probably the oldest motor I have, and is by far my strongest. What up, Stuart? Um, I wouldn't say my strongest. I did back to back comparison, and the power band is different. Like the one I ran last weekend, bottom end feels better to mid power, but the one um mid to top feels better. So I think the mid to top will be better for a lighter guy. The one I'm selling. I like a lot of bottom end power, which pulls my fat ass out of the turns. Yeah. Hit the like button, guys. These are good questions. What? What is the number one area that drivers and try to gain legal? I have no clue. I really have no clue. I've heard so many things out there. I don't know. Um, at a big event, I wouldn't. It's all about seat time. Unless your motor's really hopped up and they don't give a shit about tech, like probably GoPro and TSRS, they don't give a fuck about tech. Then yeah, you can go in there with the powerhouse. But if you go to your local track, it's the guy with the thousands and thousands of laps that's going to win the race. Like if I go to Orlando and race and someone that's there the first time, but they're fast everywhere else and they come to Orlando, they might be 1 or 2 tenths off of me. But I go there thousands of times. And we can swap engines and it'll be the same damn thing. These engines are really, really close. Like I've said it before, like, yeah, which engine builder is the best? They're all the fucking same. To an extent, they're all the same. I don't know. That's what I think. I just go to the one that's closest. Like right now, I don't have an engine builder close to me. Right, so I go down to Jack's, hand my motor off to Chris, and Chris sends it off to Victor because they're in the same town. And then Chris picks up the motor and brings it back to Jack's. I pick it up Jack's and take it with me. That's why I use Victor Peters. Close. Caps is closer to me, so I've been thinking about going to Caps because Caps is actually in Jacksonville. It has nothing to do against the engine I have. Powerhouse is great. It's amazing, but it's convenient. Like I don't have to ship the engine off. I don't got to pay to, 60, $70 to ship a motor off, then ship it back. You're looking at $120 just in shipping, plus whatever it costs for them to rebuild it. Jesus, you're looking at $500 for a rebuild. I should just buy a motor every damn time. I have like 20 engines lying around. That's why I go the Victor. Yeah, Caps is a guy that's up in Jacksonville, and some of the guys run Caps, and some of the guys run Lawson, some run Stewart, some Kart City, Dwayne Craver. Like, just pick an engine builder that's close. That's what I say. I don't think there's much difference between the engines. Hell, this weekend, what won? I don't even know what won. TS Racing won one. Who won heavy? Oh, I didn't know what Chris was running. He was probably running Snap Your Neck or VP. Um, up front, they're all different engine manufacturers. Like, yeah, GT, Caps, VP, Stewart. Yeah, they're all up there, all different engine manufacturers. And then when you go to Grands, all of them are like so like close together. It's a whole bunch of engines builders. So I mean, I'm not 100% sure on that, but I know seat time. Extremely retarded hard. Grants is by far they go in depth as hell, which is great. No, I love it. I love it. I give them a hard time, but they do a fucking amazing job. What do they tech? I mean, they'll probably go through your carburetor if you qualify top five. Probably run through the carburetor, check fuel, and they do like a dye test. They're smart. They grab the fuel when you're going onto grid for qualifying, and they drain your fuel bowl to see that you didn't put shit in your fuel bowl. And they'll do a dye test, shake it up, and then leave it and see if you pass or fail. Um, that's a smart way to do it. They will probably check carb. Um, Yeah, if you place in the top 5, you're gonna get your motor back in the box, and they check everything. They check timing, pop up, valves, springs, push rods. They check every little thing. They go through it with a fine comb, and they know what they're looking for too. And they have all the tools that do that. They don't have a calibrated finger, but they have all the tools to do it for sure. You probably see I don't let things go very easily, for sure. Oh, excuse me. For sure. Oh man. It was a man, it was interesting. I know the competition at Grants is going to be so high this year. I mean, you got the Canadians coming down. You got the people up north clashing against the south. Oh my gosh. All right. Yeah. Who's going to be the front runners at Grants? I'll do the senior classes first, and I screwed over Dylan last year, so I'll screw him over again. Um, I mean, I think it's gonna be, um, God, you. I mean, the ones I know in the side, it, Owen Lloyd will be up front, Dylan will be up front, Colin will be up front, Overbeck will be up front if he's racing. Yeah, if Garrison races, he'll be up front. Um, that's a light class basically. Medium class, you're looking at so many more people. I mean, you're gonna look at Chris Carroll at the medium class. You gotta be looking at the Perkins is on a MGM now, so he'll be quick. Understanding the car. You got Mo. Um, there's so many good drivers. It's just like anybody from the top 10 can win it. That's how crazy it is. Like anybody from the top 10 can win it. So it's an open field. Usually some years you think like, yeah, who's gonna be the heavy favorite? And then you have a couple people in mind, like, man, Colin's been on the tear, but Mick Gabriel's been doing really well as well. And then you're like, I don't know, maybe those two. Yeah, with 70 entries, you don't know who's gonna be. I mean, it's just insane the amount of people that show up. Like you don't know who's gonna win it. Like I have an idea the front runners is gonna be up there. It's just can they stay clean the whole weekend? Because if they have one bad heat racer, or if they have a bad starting spot in the finals, they got their work cut out. Because I mean, when you go up there, it's nose to tail racing. There's not much battling, so the top group of guys stays nose to tail, and they just pull away from the field, and then they 2 laps ago they duke it out. So um, for Masters, it's I mean, you got Ryan, Todd Barron, Perkins, Demers. You got my buddies up in Canada will be up there. Um, Casey is, I mean, he's doing really well this year. Um, Man, yeah, Insco. You can't count Insco out of anything. Masters going to be a really tough field. You got JD. Ryan's not going to make it, the one that won WKA Grands, so that's one less person to worry about. But my goal for Grands will be top 10. I'll be happy with top 10. Um, I'll be ecstatic with top 10. I was really happy at Springs running up front. It was completely different type of racing. Like you running up front, way less accidents, way less, people running into each other. It's just nose to tail going. It's a really much better. Yeah, Insco's running. He should be running. And then Legends, you got. I mean, the three. You got four. You got a lot of legends. Five legends. Yeah, Ryan Cassidy, Todd Barron, James Perkins, Eli Yanko, and then I forgot my fifth. It's not Joe. I know that much, but I forgot my fifth. Oh man, if he's not making grands, and then good. That's one less person to worry about. I'm glad about that. Yeah, grands is. I mean, the entry list is what, over 300 plus at the moment. I haven't even checked. I'm pretty sure it's over 350. I was gonna guess, at the end over 400, but I don't know. It's I don't even know the layout, and I'm hoping they don't reveal the layout until like the day before, so the club racers don't do a club race because that's a free practice day, and you know I don't want them to have free practice. It's already their home track. A lot of people up there. I go up to Newcastle once a year. 370 this morning, so yeah, it'll break 400 in no time. It'll it'll definitely break 400 entries easily. Easily 400 entry. Oh, you've never met him? Yeah, James is a cool guy, man. Cool, really smart. He'll walk up to the car and know exactly your setup. Medium's at 76. Billy, you haven't gotten into karting. Why haven't you gotten into karting yet? If you watch, why don't you try racing it? Medium's at 76 already? Jesus. I wonder what the LCQ is going to be. How many? I don't have all the equipment. Wait, what are you missing? I've Dude, I've shown up with a car in the back of the truck not put together. That was the old me. Senior heavy has 50. Oh my gosh. Oh man. So I think one year they let 73 run for medium. That was wild. Helmet, a bunch of other stuff, random things you need, dude. You gotta get it together, man. Just get the stuff and let's get out there. You don't know what you're missing. 67 in senior light. Oh, I'm pretty sure they're gonna cap it off like at 50. I would say 50. They might, I don't know. They might let them all ride in senior heavy. Those are gonna be long days. I mean, I don't know how you're gonna get all these people in the field. I mean, it's gonna be groups A, B, C, and D for definitely for medium and light. I don't know for heavy. Maybe two groups. But then do you have enough time to get all those groups in there? Okay, so 45. All right, I can see that. The top 40 and take 40. Yeah, that makes sense. 45. That's a good number. Yeah, when they didn't have a cap and they let all of us run in medium that one year, I was like, oh my God. I was mid 30s and I was happy. Oh man, that field was crazy. Senior heavy, I was doing much better. Medium, I was struggling. Oh, I don't have a clue. I do not have a clue. I mean, I've seen people go from like 15th and 16th. They almost win. I know. Was it last year? No, 2 years ago. I think I started in the 30s, and we took a gamble on tire choice. I went on slicks. I went from 30th after spinning out to like 15th or 16th. Someone went from the back and almost won the race on slicks compared to everybody else on wets. So depends. I don't know how low of a starting position and then come up and win it. To be honest, don't have a clue. Mm. Then we're up at 50 minutes. I want to be on here for a little bit longer and then call it quits. Basically, if you have any other questions, spit them out. Probably be back on here next week. Yeah, next Friday at 8 o'clock again. It's good just to talk. Then we get to talk about SSKC, how that went down. I'll have all the info. PK apparently has like, from what I got, it's kind of bumpy, narrow-ish track, and there's like really 1 to 2 passing zones only. But gearing is pretty close to Homestead, from what I've heard from the grapevine. So they definitely don't know. Um, like I said, I thought the only weaknesses the MGM had was a loose track and a bumpy track, but I was proven wrong at the last TSRS round by Bryce. Bryce definitely the track was like ice, and we made the cart work. Like the MGM was working really well there too. Yeah, I haven't gone down the Bushnell in a while. Um, yeah, it was just wasn't on my radar to come down and race this year. Bushnell has been having a great turnout for 206 as well. Um, yes, I have run Splitcaster, and the only track I have ever run Splitcaster at is Jacksonville, and that's the only track I will ever run Splitcaster. I don't run like different cross weight for anything. I don't do the staggered either. I like to have my cart, turn left and right the same. The split caster's just because of the sweeper. That's the only reason I've run the split caster. Other than that, I keep the cart pretty much, um, even across the board. And really, I don't have many adjustments. Once you get your baseline setup down, you don't deviate much from the baseline, and basically everything's mostly the same for most people. You have some oddball drivers out there that can drive with seat stretch full caster and everything else in the book that you would think it would not work, but it works for them, right? That driving style will not work for me. You see, I have a lot of nose weight, so my nose weight up front is close to like 46.5% nose. I only got 53.5% rear. That's not typical. Typical is, I would say, 42 to 43% front and 57 to 58 rear. That's typical weight distribution most of the time. I carry a lot of nose weight, 46 to 47%. It's just my driving style. I'm a big guy. I weigh, the cart weighs 150 pounds. I'm 230. So I can make the cart do what I want to do, if that makes sense. So if I feel the cart's too tight, I'll lean, I'll lift the tire up higher just by leaning, pushing on the steering wheel. Um, if the cart's too free, I just back up the corners, do a little opposite. So I just like that's just what I like. I like to have a lot of front bite. Some people like a lot of rear bite. They like the rear to drive the front, and other people like the front to drive the rear. And then you have some of them that are right in the middle. They're balanced. So it's just your driving style preferences. And most of my racing is regional level and above. So grip levels high. So I feel like I need more nose weight to keep the rear free. And that's just due to my size. I'm a pretty big boy. Yeah, I don't think anybody or much of anybody carries that much nose weight. Oh, some people complain about the cart always being stuck. Like I don't know how you think the cart's always stuck. Like are you stuck because you're not lifting the cart? If the cart's not lifting, um, I like the 212s versus the 180s. That's just my preference. Keeps the cart freer. The 180s, I don't know. Yes, I went to 9 psi in the finals. Yeah, I start. It's really hard to drive J Dizzle the first 2 to 3 laps. It's a handful. You'll see. I'll release my video tomorrow. It is a freaking handful. I was slowing up the pack. Ryan moved me out of the way. I just could not keep the cart under me at all. It was so freaking free. It was no joke. Like the freest the cart's ever been. But once the tire temps came up, the pressure came up a little bit. The cart was still free, a little loose, but the cart felt way better. And the cart came in. Some carts got tight towards the end. I noticed that in Heat 1, um, we kept getting quicker and quicker and quicker. In Heat 2, he overheated the rear tires, the people I was running against overheated the rears, so the tire pressure got too high. And two things happen. Sometimes they get stuck, or they'll just slide the rear more. So that was happening with them. They were basically just sliding the rear. And the finals, I don't know what was happening. Nobody. It looked like Skinner was tight and Ryan was loose, and it looked like Insco was just buying his time. But then cart fell off. I don't know what happened. I just know from lap 2 until I caught them, cart was just on fire. I was running faster, running them down until I caught them. Then the pace slowed down because they were holding me up to the double lefts and rights. It looked like Ryan's cart came in really, really late, but I think that was due to him having to compensate on him getting tight towards the end of the run. CRG has come a long way. Like you guys would start off really good with a green track, and then when the rubber comes in, it would go to shit. But this time when the rubber came in, he's had to do a couple slide adjustments, and I mean, it came back alive really well. My cart, once I got the baseline set up, I just quarter inch in, quarter inch out. That was basically it. And then I gave Lesick setup, and I saw him in Heat 2, and I was like, that's the setup. And I just put his setup in my cart and didn't touch it for the rest of the weekend. And the cart was just money. Yeah. Depends. I run aluminum front rims and magnesium rear rims. Again, more grip in the front, less grip in the rear. They don't heat up as much. So I'll run a stagger sometimes. I'll put less air pressure in the front than the rear because when they come off the track, they usually all come off the same. If I know if I'm overheating a tire more, say the whole track's all high speed lefts and that right rear is getting hotter than the rest, um, I'll check it when I come off track, and if it's like 2 pounds higher than the rest, then I'll start 2 pounds lower than the rest so they can all be equal when I come in. So yeah, I do run different tire pressures from front to back sometimes, um, just depending on what rims I'm using at that point in time. I usually stick with aluminum fronts and magnesium rears. It's just my I'll say it's my style now. Yeah. I have raced Rock Cup. I have raced Rock Cup before, yes. I don't race Rock Cup anymore because they don't really allow 206s. But I have raced Rock Cup. Rock Cup is a really well ran event. Um, the stadium race is probably, I hate to say it, the worst track to run it on. It's extremely bumpy. It's just it's just not enjoyable. Yeah, it's not enjoyable at all. It's extremely bumpy. It's cool to watch, and they run a really good event. The coverage is great, but it's not an event to. It's an event to do it once and call it good. I would say that right now the biggest event right now is CKNA. That's what's big for us for the four stroke community, and then the rest are SCUSA, USPKS, Rock. But yeah, Rock did run a really good ship. Um, just we had an issue one year, and that was that for Rock Cup for us. But yeah, that was a really good event. I really enjoyed it. SCUSA, uh, even when they let us run in SCUSA, it was like, it was fun, but Jesus. I don't know, to be honest. I'm gonna have to contact them. I don't know when they'll be back on track at the moment. Miguel has been taking a break. You know how sometimes karting gets real tough. You have a couple bad finishes or you have a bad year, and you just need to step back and try to find, reassess things and get your groove back together. Um, Gabe and me are on that boat right now. Gabe had shoulder surgery, so he's been recuperating for that. I think he's just waiting for that to get 100% before he gets back on track. And then Miguel's just taking a couple steps back because he's been having a couple bad outings. Um, he went for uh, a local event in Jackson, was real fast. Like he was still driving great. Kart was real fast. It's just everybody put brand new tires for local, and we're not used to that. Um, Nobody would put brand new tires when you go to OGP. So we would run like half the season on old tires, and then at the halfway mark, we'd all do like a gentleman's agreement, put brand new tires on because it's a local event. You're not going to spend. I mean, we used to run OGP, and it cost us, I mean, $45, $50 tops to race. That'll be all day, and then you run a decent set of tires and call it good. But now you show up and it's like people throwing on brand new tires every freaking session, or every local race you throw brand new tires on, and I'm like, Jesus Christ! All right, I mean, yeah, you win, but you beat me because you threw new tires on. It's like CKNA South this year. Like, okay, yeah, the competition was great, but I ran one set of tires for both days. Most of my competition ran a new set of tire each day. Oh, no, no problem, man. I hope to see you on track, Billy. I hope to get you out there. But yeah, so that's why Miguel's taking a step back. Yeah, well, maybe someday soon, man. All right, guys, we're over an hour. Let's call it quits. Let's come back next Friday and bullshit some more. I don't know what we're going to talk about next Friday. Someone suggest something, and we'll come up with it. Yeah, but I'll release my next video tomorrow. It should be good. Hope you guys enjoy it. I had fun. I was really happy with the cart and the results. So definitely wait, watch for that one. I appreciate you guys for everything you guys do. Don't forget to hit the smash that like button. I'll catch you guys on track. If you guys go to Grands, hit me up. Come talk to me. I'm an open book. Um, I'll give you all the information you need. Probably bite me in the ass, but who cares? I just want everybody to have a good time. Well, I think Gabe jumped to MGM. Yes, he will. So we're all on the MGM train. It's a really good chassis, and then Paul and April Rice are amazing people. They're really, really amazing down to earth people, and the chassis just works, hands down. Chassis just freaking works. Ain't no joke. I mean, it's really, really working. All right, guys. I'll catch you guys on track. Catch you guys on the next ones. Love you. Take it easy.